People love to own weird, one-of-a-kind stuff. We know that. But there is weird and kooky, and then there is straight up cursed or disturbed. And today we are going to be talking about the second one of those. Welcome back everyone, thanks for tuning in to another video. My name is Kennedy, and today we are counting down the top 10 disturbing items sold at auction that will horrify you. Let's start the bid off at $1 million. First up in our number 10.
Oh shit, y'all. Well, y'all got the capture. My mic was off. My bias.
Spot is ancient protection. While birth control as we know it is a relatively new technology, with rubber condoms being created in the late 19th century and latex ones coming on the scene around the 1920s, people have been using all sorts of things to protect themselves for centuries. In fact, it's estimated that the use of condoms goes back 13,000 years, and in that time all sorts of strange things have been used, like silk paper, animal horns, and even tortoise shells. But one of the more popular sheaths of choice a few hundred years ago, well, one might fashion a sheep intestine to do the trick. And believe it.
Hell no. Did she just say a sheep intestine to wrap around your, you know what, to do your grown up? Nah, I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it. Nope. No way.
Or not, they can be worth a bit of money these days. In 2016, a 200-year-old condom made from sheep intestines sold during an online auction for $556 after a bidding war resulted in the condom being sold for twice its estimated value. I mean, this one is strange, but it will likely calm you to know that it reportedly resides in a museum in Amsterdam these days and is not in the hands of just some creepy person who wanted an ancient used condom. But either way, it's a pretty wild thing to spend $550 on. Moving on to number 9, a banana. Okay, so I don't think I can really say that this one is disturbing, but you know, there's a lot of dark stuff we're gonna get to on this list, so I'm gonna begin with some things that are just
Man, I wonder how, you know, they get a little bit dark though. I ain't gonna even sit here and ask how dark we think they can get, because I've been watching these guys for quite a while. I've just been catching up on their new episodes, but yeah, they stuff can get pretty crazy there.
A little more peculiar. Now, of course, art is subjective. Everyone is going to be into different items, styles, and whatnot. But a banana duct taped to a wall is not the first thing that pops into my head when I imagine a piece of art selling for $120,000 at an auction. But that is exactly what happened. To be fair, the gallerist who sold the pricey piece said the point of artist Maurizio Catalan's controversial piece entitled Comedian was to question what art is, and many feel that he certainly achieved that. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a kooky little situation, because I mean, you have to admit, it's a pretty wild way to spend $120,000. Moving on to number 8.
Wait,
$120,000.
Wait, hold
I mean, you have
on,
to admit,
hold
it's
on,
a
bro.
but yet art is entitled Comedian was to question what art is, and many feel that he certainly achieved that. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a kooky little situation, because I mean, you have to admit, it's a pretty wild way to spend $120,000. Moving on to number 8, a dead shark.
No. I ain't spending that much money on a banana, bro, and I could just go to Wally World, bro, and just buy, you know, some, you know what I mean?
Similarly to the banana, this next one is more weird than anything, but I'll argue more on the creepy side. Created by British contemporary artist Damien Hirst, who is known in the art community for his obsession with death, as is seen in his high-priced and macabre pieces, sold a fully preserved tiger shark for a whopping $8 million back in 2004. The 22-ton shark had been preserved in formaldehyde, and the piece was titled "The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living." And while it might not be the most horrifying thing on this list, by by a long shot. I am very curious about who spent $8 million to have a fully preserved dead shark in their personal collection. Next up at number 7, the Bassano vase. As the legend goes, the Bassano vase was a gift for a 15th century bride on her wedding day. But tragically, the bride never made it down the altar as she was killed the eve before her wedding, still clutching her gift. It's said the bride vowed revenge for never being able to reach the altar and marry.
This game.
The curse lives inside the vase as each member of her family who took the possession after her tragic death died soon after. But the strangest thing about this cursed object is that it vanished from the public eye for literal centuries. Somewhere between the 15th century and 1988, the vase's location was unknown until it popped up at an auction in Lira and sold for $4 million. The vase was allegedly sold with a note that read, "Beware, this vase brings death." And the man who bought the vase at the 1980s.
Y'all hear what she just said? The note said, y'all listen to this again. But y'all had to spend y'all money on that, man. Like, be real.
$4 million.
$4 million.
The vase was allegedly sold with a note that read, "Beware, this vase brings death." And
hell nah. I would let that sum gun right where it was at, y'all.
And the
right
man
where
who
it's at.
bought the vase at the 1988 auction reportedly died soon after. And the next man who bought it was a doctor who died 3 months later. In fact, if the reports are true, the longest anyone has ever been able to withstand the evil vase before succumbing to the curse is 3 months. As of today, it's actually unclear just exactly where this vase is, so the mystery of the disappearing vase continues. Moving on to number 6.
Man, that vase can stay missing, bro. I would've just took that loss, bro. Like, man, screw that vase. Everybody that touched that die, bro. Just wherever it's at, as long as nobody got it, I'm fine with it. And nobody stumbles across it. I'm fine with it.
eBay voodoo doll. Allegedly cursed items are a...
See? People are crazy, bro. See? The cursed voodoo doll. Look, people be going to the black web, bro. Buying all this. Man, bro, never catch me buying nothing from the black web, bro. I'm good. Nope. Nothing like that. Nope.
Huge market on eBay. This listing in question was auctioning off a terrifying voodoo doll that was bound and chained inside a metal box with explicit instructions to never remove it, otherwise you would release its evil powers. And apparently, there were enough people that saw that and really wanted it. The woman who ended up purchasing it, however, paid no attention to the instructions and removed the doll as soon as it arrived. Reportedly, it didn't take long before strange things were happening in her house. She began hearing loud tapping noises in every room and would have vivid nightmares that always ended in her being woken up abruptly after finding the doll in a place she had never left it. One morning, she even woke up covered in scratches. Eventually, she got so afraid that she decided to send the doll back to the seller just to get it out of her house. But to her horror, the package was returned with a note that said, "Resident deceased." Moving on to number 5.
Damn.
Ted Bundy Christmas card. We all know the notorious killer Ted Bundy. He confessed to being responsible for 30 deaths of young women across 7 states in the 1970s, though there were probably more. And he was so widely hated that when he was executed, over 500 people gathered to cheer, dance, and shoot off fireworks in the wake of his death. However, there happens to be a bit of overlap with people who are publicly regarded as cruel and evil, and other people wanting to sell their things for a lot of money. In fact, with the rise of online auction sites like eBay, it became even more commonplace. Now, eBay banned the sales of these kinds of dark items in 2001, but this was followed by several other sites dedicated specifically to the sale of criminal collectibles to come onto the scene. The Ted Bundy Christmas card sold on one of these
Yeah, see, look, I wouldn't have bought the Ted Bundy Christmas card neither. Somebody probably would have bought it just to say they got it and think it's, oh, I'm gonna buy this because this is gonna be worth something. Oh man, I ain't buying that, man. Don't you know, man, that all the energy is in that ink, bro? Come on, man. Man, I wouldn't buy that shit, bro.
Auction sites for
No way.
$800 to a woman in France who thought she got a great deal on it. She told the Daily Mail it was a unique opportunity. I never saw a Bundy item for this price and never will again. Moving on to number 4, Amelia the doll. Clearly I am out of the loop.
Oh, yeah, bro. This one, no matter what we watch, Amelia the doll, bro, is gonna pop up with, what's the other one? Annabelle? Yeah. And Robert the doll, man, yeah. I don't see how people stumble across stuff like that, y'all.
But I truly had no idea just how many allegedly possessed dolls were being sold on eBay. This particular terrifying toy was auctioned on the site and posted with a warning that read, "This doll is not recommended for the weak at heart or for any little ones to have in their bedrooms." I mean, doesn't that just sound like the perfect addition to your home? The original owner of the terrifying demon doll claimed that Amelia's eyes used—
What? Bro, look
the
at this,
original
bro.
owner of the terrifying demon
Watch
doll
when it
claimed
starts.
that
Look at that,
Amelia's
bro.
eyes used to be blue, but they had turned an unsettling shade of green over time, and apparently
Man.
On the first day, I did $12,000, and that was like, wow, that was cool.
we had about— Apparently, it wasn't until after her eyes changed color that things started to get weird. Eventually, it was purchased by a paranormal enthusiast, and even he began to be creeped out by the thing. He recounts that he would hear juvenile laughter from—
I kind of watch out from stuff, if I ever, stop at a thrift store. Because they do have good stuff at thrift stores. You can find good records and stuff, you know what I mean? But man, stuff like that, little trinkets and stuff, yeah, I'm not buying it. Little dolls, nah, I'm good. One of my kids, when they was younger, they wanted one. Oh, just go get you one from Wally World, man. Can't do it.
From the room she was kept in, and that on several occasions he saw her waving. But all of that pales in comparison to the day he found her standing alone in the hallway as if she had been waiting for him to come home. Dolls, man. Moving on to number 3, painting by a war leader. So first things first, I can't say who painted this, but you will catch on
Adolf
quick.
Hitler.
He was the notorious leader of fascist Germany during—
That's Adolf Hitler. Bro, all thing they gotta do is show that weird ass fucking bowl cut, bro. And you know exactly who that is, bro.
World War II. However, aside from being a megalomaniac responsible for exterminating millions of Jews and other minorities, he also had an artistic side. But the thing was, he wasn't terribly good at it. In fact, he was a failed artist who was famously rejected twice when he applied to art school, and as a whole, his work was considered crushingly mediocre. Despite this, during a 2015 auction in Nuremberg, an anonymous buyer purchased a 14-piece watercolor collection depicting castles and flowers for $450,000. Now, this is disturbing for a few reasons. The first being, I think we can all agree it is definitely not the leader's skill that earned that large sum of money at the auction, but his sheer notoriety as an evil historical figure. Secondly, the ethics behind selling bad art from the world's most notorious dictator has raised questions. Like, it's just creepy to be celebrating it to begin with, but we're also talking about a man who was responsible for the wholesale suppression and destruction of priceless artworks during his time in power. Yet, his artwork sold for almost $500,000. Moving on to number 2, a weapon. You may remember the name George Zimmerman, as he became notorious for the death of a young black man back in 2012. But if you remember Zimmerman, then you will also remember that based on a technicality in Florida's Stand By Your Ground law, he was shockingly found innocent of the crime. The incident of Zimmerman and the boy sparked major national racial tensions, as well as the massive civil rights movement famously known as Black Lives Matter, yet somehow, as disturbing as all of that is that the weapon he used for his crime was put up for auction and sold. Originally, the weapon was put up on an online auction site, and Zimmerman explained that the Justice Department had recently returned the weapon to him and that he had every right to sell it as the owner, but the website refused to be a part of the dark auction and removed his listing. However, Zimmerman posted the same listing on a separate site and within minutes was receiving serious requests, and eventually he sold it for $250,000. So not only did this man—
Are you fucking kidding me? $250,000? Some sicko bought that gun, bro, for that much money? Wow. Wow.
and not go to jail for killing somebody, he made $250,000 off of it, which is just sick and twisted. And last up in our #1 spot, a human.
Fucking
It
sick and
literally
twisted,
doesn't
really.
get any creepier than this.
Fucking sick and twisted, y'all.
In 2018, an auction was advertised on Facebook, and the item being sold was not actually an item at all. It was a 17-year-old girl from South Sudan. The auction was following a long-standing tradition of selling young brides to essentially whichever man provides the highest dowry, and in this case, 5 men fought each other in a disgusting bidding war. Now, the event was condemned by human rights lawyers, anti-human trafficking organizations, and local and international communities. But shockingly, the advertisement stayed up for several days before the social media giant responded and removed the post. Tragically, by that point, it was too late and a sale had been made. In the end, the girl was handed over to a man in his 40s as his 9th wife after he paid with luxury cars, 500 cattle, $10,000, bikes, phones, and a boat. I mean, it's just horrifying. Well, that's all I got for you today, friends. Have you ever purchased anything crazy from an auction? Let me know down below, and make sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. I'll see you next time.
That shit crazy, y'all. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed that one, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one.